bus trip over to Dubuque.
Okay.
And
He was brave.
that was, I didn't, they wanted to know if I wanted to go along. I said, okay, I'll go along. I had nothing else to do. We come down, I got down there, parked the car, and went over, we got on the bus, and there must have been about 25 or 30 women, and I was the only man. And I thought, what the hell did I get into here? And anyway, I went, and I kind of sat in the back, and then the only one that I really know that I could talk to was her, and so I think it was on the way back, wasn't it?
Because he had been to our house to have supper or something.
Yeah, well, we've gone, your grandpa and I had gone fishing up in Canada, so I knew her, and so I went up and I sat with her and we talked, and that's kind of, I guess, when I got to know her a little better, or you know, and then she'd have some problems and at the house, and I'd go over and help her out,
Did you think she was cute?
well, yeah. She she cut the damn gas line out to the yard light with a spade trying to plant some flowers around it, and I went over and that was I fixed it. I got it fixed for her, but
Yeah, he did. The first thing he did though was it was a Thanksgiving and we were having dinner, having everybody there for dinner, and the stove goes out.
no, the furnace.
The furnace goes out. So he came over and fixed that, and so that we could get the. I thought it was the stove so we could get the dinner cooked.
No, it was Ron worked the stove, and he didn't know anything about the furnace.
Okay.
So I went over and your pilot light had gone out, and it was an old timer, I'll tell you. One of the originals when they first started changing to the natural gas and stuff, and had a big long tube in there and everything. But I had seen them and I had worked on them, and I got it one for them.
And then another time, he's being an electrician, the the thing that makes your gas come into the house quit, and he come over there and got
Were
that.
you making those happen just so you could spend more time with them, Grandma?
What?
Were you making those happen just so you could spend more time with him?
You'd think I would have been, yeah. And he come over there once, and when I was digging up area to put flowers in, and came over there and helped me with that, and then that other area around the picnic, around the table, he got that fixed because I busted the wire, and
When did you decide you liked him?
I didn't deliberately break things. I didn't want to.
But when did you decide you liked him?
Oh, now that's a good question. I think that he asked me to go down to where was it?
Fairfield
play,
Bay?
no, to play cards.
Yeah, there you go. That's the first time we went out.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, uh, you know, every New Year's Eve, Dale and Helen and Ross and Irene, and then there were Dorothy and I, and another couple from down Davenport that we went to school with. And then there was a couple women too, that we would get together and play cards. We'd go over and we'd have a drink of wine, and then we'd all go down to Carnsforth, which is a restaurant, a local restaurant there that it's out in the country. But we would go down there and have a dinner, and after the dinner, then we would come back to Ross and Irene's or Dale and Helen's or one of the two, and we would play cards then we'd have a glass of wine, everybody'd Happy New Year and a hug and so forth, and then we'd come home. Well, that time, why, I didn't have anybody to go with me. And,
So he comes up in church. I was in church. He was being the usher, and I come into the church, and he said, "Do you want to go on a party with me or something like that?"
I was ushered.
Well, how'd you ask it, Cheryl?
Well,
Ask her how you asked
I
her.
think I asked her if she played cards.
Yeah.
I think that's what I asked her, was she played cards. And she said yes. And I said, well, would you like to go out New Year's Eve and play cards over at Brooklyn with me?
Mm.
And she
That
said,
sounded
yeah.
good because I didn't have any place to go on New Year's Eve.
Well, then we went, and my friends all liked her real well. So
Because
that-
she's amazing.
yeah. Because to tell you the truth, I had taken Helen the year before,
Yeah.
and she didn't go down too good with him.
No.
So
Grandma passed the bar.
yeah, didn't want to go that again.
Grandma
Okay.
passed the bar.
Yeah.
When did you decide you liked Grandma?
Do what?
So Grandma decided she liked you when you asked her to go to cards. When did you decide, what made you decide that you liked Grandma enough that you wanted to ask her to go play cards with you?
Well, she sang in the choir, and we visited after she'd come over. And, I'd always get a cup of coffee, and then the choir would get out, and she had to change her robe and so forth. Then she'd come back for a cup of coffee, and
And he'd be standing there alone by the window, not talking to anybody.
And so you'd go talk to him.
So I could talk to him.
so anyway.
And that's when you decided you liked her.
Well, yeah, and we just kind of got. Then one day I was driving down the street and went by Pearson's flower shop, and I guess I got to thinking of her, so I wheeled around, went in, and I bought a long-stemmed rose.
And you know that's the only flower he's ever bought me.
When did you give it to her?
Well, I just turned right up the street and went up to 16th Street, up to her house, and went around and knocked on the back door, and she come, and I had her, how'd you like to have a rose?
It was nice. I liked it.
We had a cup
That's
of coffee.
so nice. What did you think when was that before or after you asked her to play cards?
It was after.
Probably
After.
I'm not sure, but that's
was
been
after.
15 years ago.
I like these stories though. These are good stories.
Well, how sweet of you to listen.
Anyway, that's kind of how it went, and then.
When did you first
pro-
kiss her, Cheryl?
Huh?
When did you first kiss her?
Oh God, I don't know that. But anyway.
Grandma, you remember. When
You
did
probably heard. the
you
story.
remember? When did he first kiss you? You remember?
Well, I think that night that,
Oh, probably probably over
that-
there. Yeah, that's probably it.
yeah, that was right. Yeah. And then after you took me home, you gave me a kiss. Took me home from the party.
Yeah. But anyway, then
Wait a minute. What I liked about this was that on the way home, he drove real slow. I thought that was nice.
That is nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
He didn't want it to end.
No, I don't think so. And then they go. Hello. Must have done that wrong or something. I don't know what it did.
Okay, keep going, Cheryl.
Well, then I got to the point where I decided that I was gonna go. I was walking at the mall all the time, You probably heard me tell.
No,
that.
tell it.
And I went over and I walked a couple miles at the mall. And all the time I walked, I always walked with my head down, and everybody always asked me how many squares are there in the floor, counting this floor tile. Anyway, and, I decided I'd go over and talk to her. So I got,
What was I doing there?
yeah, I called my car and drove over there instead of going home.
Oh,
And I went around the back and racked on the door, and she came to the door, and it was about 10 o'clock. She's still in her house coat, and anyway, I said, "You got any coffee?" And she said, "Yeah." So I came in, and I went in, and she made coffee, and we sat down in that little bay window there at the
Yeah, yeah.
back end, and I finally got around and asked her if she would marry me.
Oh. And how'd you think, Grandma, when he asked you to marry you?
I said, you bet.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
should have made it a little bit harder, but I didn't. I just said, yeah.
So
I should
then
have made him
anyway,
beg or something.
then I kind of regret this, that we got married on her birthday. That wasn't fair.
Yeah,
But I was in a hurry then.
yeah.
And her birthday was about 2 months ahead.
Yeah, we
You know.
really hadn't gone together very long.
But anyway, I said, well, when do you want to get married? And she said, well, I don't know. She said, well, my birthday's so-and-so, and I said, well, let's get married on your birthday. So we did, we agreed to that. Well, then we went to,
Actually, that was about a month before my birthday.
so we went, in that meantime, we went out and got a ring for her, and she went with me. I went to the mall, and we got her a ring and so
Big
forth.
ring.
And, I just kept on going, you know. Then Annie got into it, and she had to have a new dress, and they wanted to know what color of suits I had, so I had 3 suits hanging in the closet, so I brought all 3 suits out to them and said, "I'll probably wear this one," and
Do you remember that dress? That's the one I'm gonna wear.
The red dress. I love that dress.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear that for my funeral.
I love that dress, Grandma.
I do too. It's probably a little bit big, but that doesn't matter. They can.
I love that dress. It was so beautiful. And you looked beautiful in it. I love that you wore a red dress for your wedding. I loved that. I thought that was great.
so anyway, we got all of that kind of thing settled, and
I'm surprised how many people came for the wedding.
boy, we had a lot of people there.
The church was full.
Yeah.
It was.
Why were you surprised at how many people came?
I don't know. I just didn't know that many people would come. But I think they will for our funeral too. I think we'll
Yeah,
have.
but anyway, it all turned out well.